Why is the Biden administration trying to ban cars and trucks?
The administration is not trying to ban anything. The administration, through the EPA, is trying to reduce emissions. And the emissions can be best reduced through electrification. But there is not any effort to ban vehicles, internal combustion engine vehicles.
Republican Senator John Barrasso and Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm butting heads during a fiery Senate hearing yesterday. Granholm on the defense over the Biden administration's push for electric vehicles. Mike Sommers, the president and CEO of the American Petroleum Institute. It's interesting to me, like when they announced this, President Biden was in Ireland. They had Michael Regan of the EPA do it. I don't think it went as well for them as they thought it was going to, because here's the president trying to remake the entire auto industry, and he doesn't even take any questions on it.
This is a policy that's only good for China. All of these materials that we need to make electric vehicles are all processed or produced in China. Right now, we have a vehicle fleet that is almost entirely made here in the United States. And unfortunately, this policy is bad for Americans because it's going to increase costs for American consumers and only source all of these products in China.
I just saw a chart this morning about all the electric vehicle batteries and how many are made in China. And it is almost off the charts. It's almost 100%.
It is. Lithium, cobalt, all the copper that we're going to need to supply these new electric vehicles. Wow. It's going to be a huge challenge for America at a time when China is our biggest geopolitical risk.
The problem with that, I mean, just to tail off of what Dana's saying, it's a double whammy out of China, because you're getting all the minerals from there. But they're putting up a coal plant every 13 days in China.
That's exactly right, Bill. We're at a point where this country could be energy independent if we just had the policies in place to be energy independent. So we have endorsed a plan. We have a plan. We have H.R. 1, of course, that would just pass the House of Representatives. API has a make, move, and improve plan that is a 10-point agenda that if Congress enacted, we could be energy independent again.
Well, if only, right? She, you can use the phrase you want. She doesn't want to use reduce. I mean, pare back, pick your poison there. I thought what Joe Manchin said in that hearing was very telling. So, West Virginia, right, coal state. He said, let the market go where it's going to go. What he's saying is allow the consumer to determine what succeeds and fails.
Then why did he vote for the Inflation Reduction Act?
Well, let's think about what actually has happened over the course of the last decade. The United States has actually been able to replace coal as the primary power source because of markets, not government. We've been able to replace coal with natural gas, which is a cleaner burning fuel, 50% cleaner than coal. And it had nothing to do with a government incentive. It had everything to do with markets, because we were producing more here and we've reduced costs. We want to export that environmental progress all around the world. But unfortunately, we don't have the policies in place to do it.
We were doing it.
We were doing
it. Mike, we are headed into summer months. It's going to be a little bit warmer. That's also when the government then decides to change some fuel blends. The gas prices are already headed on the way up. Here's also Secretary Granholm yesterday on what she says they're trying to do to reduce gas prices.
One of the actions that we took last year in the wake of the war and the supply constraint was to release from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. The gas prices fell by about $1.50 a gallon at that point. Oil traded on a global market. OPEC decides to cut production. That's a problem. We want to encourage domestic production. This year, we will be at a record level of domestic production in the United States.
Ooh, those members of Congress must have been irritated. Hey, the gas prices now versus a month ago, $3.44 a month ago today, $3.68. And we're heading into the summer months. What's the outlook for consumers and families out there in the summer?
Here's the biggest concern about what Jennifer Granholm just said. She has drained the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to levels that we haven't seen since 1983 when Ronald Reagan was president. The biggest problem is that since then, we actually use 20% more oil today. We're at a dangerously low point for the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. So we need to get that back filled up now.
So when are they going to do that, Mike? And what's it going to cost?
Well, they're saying they're going to be doing that sometime by the end of the year. I doubt it, given where we expect gas prices to be going. So the most important policy that we can pursue now is an American energy policy. Unfortunately, this administration has a political policy, not an energy policy. We need to be producing more here in the United States.
So what's API doing to try to push back against that?
So every single day, we're working with our best colleagues on Capitol Hill. We're trying to advance American energy. We have an agenda that would actually produce more here in the United States. It's an agenda that the American people have embraced. And it's an agenda that this Biden administration has turned away from every single time.
We'll see if they change, if the pain gets too tight and too high.
Good to have you in New York.
Thank you.
Great to be here.
Nice to see you in person.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.